we met in this kind of pseudo-rural college town, and we had every idea to move back to that college town, and it just didn't work out, and winds of circumstance and grace blew us further north than we ever anticipated.
We didn't know of the area, but we realized through enough of our traveling and trial that we wanted to be in Vermont. So when we started searching at the time, we were on a spring break trip, both working in schools in New York City, and we found where there was housing.
This one? I think so.
And from there we said, well, let's job search in this area. Let's be here.
I think this might be it.
Your destination is on the right.
Is it?
And then we were looking for a home, and we found what was for us.
That's it. They're in their house.
Hi. We got the right place.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
So you guys wanted to come out to the country. You want to live off the land. What was the idea?
The first idea would be to not live in New York City anymore. I'm from New York City. I love it. I love the people from it. We were living in a small roach-infested box, and it wasn't working.
Yeah. And what were you looking for? Like an affordable house? I mean, what was the sort of goal, right?
A place to live.
So yes, we were looking for a house that was certainly affordable and that we could work with and grow with.
What's that?
That'll
Country
be a
life.
gunshot. But as opposed to the gunshots that I grew up in Brooklyn, I know exactly who that was and what they're doing. Dale runs a greenhouse a few doors down, and groundhogs are the bane of his existence.
This house is a godsend in the sense that it is a bit of an anomaly, looking for a one-bedroom, sunlit cottage for a small family on 1 or more acres.
Did you disclose the price of the property?
$160,000.
Wow. Okay, so that was like hard to find, I bet, right?
It was the only
It was
one.
the only one. This was the only place that we could live.
Only one for under 200,000. I mean, what's your
250,000 was probably the closest one after that.
Yeah. This house was listed for, I believe, 3 to 4 months. The price was lowered because people weren't interested in it, and one-bedroom house, it's not that popular and not that common. So we'd love to show you inside. They're gonna check the mail.
Can you open? Oh, no mail.
No mail. Okay, let's go show your toys inside. I'll get the door.
I know.
It's a fixer-upper, and we've been working on that these last 3 years.
So how big is your house?
670 square feet.
Approximately.
Okay. That's small for being rural.
It's an anomaly. It used to be the garage for the house next door. And then I believe around 50 years ago, it was moved.
It was like a guest house. It was rented for some time.
So who was living here before?
It was an office.
Oh, what? So it wasn't a home?
No, this has not been a home for at least a decade. It was a civil engineering office. They had machinery and maps strewn everywhere.
The curtains came with the house.
And all the cupboards came with it as well.
All of the wood came with the house. This came with the house.
This is our late 1980s Jenn-Air stove. It has a griddle. It has a downdraft because if you look around, there's no place to put a hood to suck things up. So it goes right into our basement. I think that's super neat. It's 2 burners. It's, it fits the small, cute aesthetic that we have here.
Everything's small scale.
It has to be. And I love that I can stand here and watch my wife and toddler play in the living room because it's all one room.
You just said the other day, our life is in 2 rooms.
We're going to the closet. We're going to get a trip. All
right, let's go.
Closet to grab some stuff and flip.
Okay, so this is kind of like our office. It's honestly, we rarely sit here, but it is a desk and it's functional. This is the other half of the house. When we say we live in 2 rooms, it's true. This is a 1-bedroom house, but we essentially treat it like a 2-bedroom. Because you can see the kids' room side of it here, and then this little curtain here separates to mom and dad's room in the very back. So what we'll do is to make 2 rooms, just simple curtains, which actually came with the house, and there are 2 of them, so plenty of fabric there. and now you have another room.
It feels like it. I mean, and what a gorgeous room. Honestly, like
You
with
get a
these
lot of light.
views.
It's awesome. Here right now it's all green, but every season is like a different color. Or with the maple tree leaves changing in the fall. We get really beautiful foliage. Like people come from around the country to this town specifically to see foliage.
This room is just great with the views.
The fact that when you look down, you sort of see the meadow.
Yeah.
Actually, you own it. Right?
It's lovely to wake up here, and every day I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah, to see the fireflies or the stars, like from when my head is on the pillow, I can look out and see stars, see fireflies, and then in the morning, yes, to see the meadow and to remind myself, like, hey, no one's gonna kick us off. This is
Like
ours.
we don't have to move. Like we as a couple moved so many times between when we met in college and when we moved here 3 years ago, and we don't have to move. It is an amazing feeling. Nice. It feels really cozy too in the winter, like when you're inside and then there's like white all out here.
You can't talk about the seasons in Vermont and not talk about the winter.
Yeah, this house, we're doing a lot of work for weatherizing, winterizing.
Because it probably wasn't that weatherized being a garage.
No, the basement is crazy.
Okay.
The window inserts are in the basement right now because it's like almost summer, but that's the window insert. That helped us to retain heat and make it a little bit more efficient while we are waiting to replace the window. Here, hon, I'll carry it. Fine. Are you sure? Okay, all right. Oh, you're welcome.
Every insert matches a window. It fits directly in the window. You press it in, pop, 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 and it's just another layer of insulation. And it saves, they say like $1,000 in the winter in terms of insulation.
Wow.
And it's a big deal.
What is it? Plastic?
Yep, plastic, it's just cheap wood and plastic on both sides. So there's a pocket of air that keeps some heat.
How cold does it get here?
Oh, -20. With the wind chill, -35.
Yeah, because we're at the latitude of like southern Canada.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of curtains, lots of wall storage, using all the space that we have.
Yeah. So, and then you have his bed here, which
Yeah,
is like
this
good
is-
for now.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's amazing difference from bringing a newborn home into this space to having a 2-year-old and counting. In the spirit of using the space that we have, I've decided to just do this like basket storage for my son's clothes, socks. We really just hang things up as needed. Like here's a piece of yarn. I mean, we do things just kind of improvisationally. And we have all of our clothes. This is a mess, but one closet, that's that, and on the other side is our pantry. This is pretty much just another packed little pantry. We did manage to get a microwave in here. Another thing that was found for free. I describe our furnishings and most of our aesthetic as gifted, thrifted, and free. Because that's what most of these things are. This is a family, I would say, heirloom at this point from your folks.
I ate my meals as a little toddler on that.
And most things, everything, is either multi-purpose or storage or fold away, that kind of thing. So this guy's little bench can move. And then this is our formal dining room. This will come out, and there's our table. You can just easily set the table and kind of move along the chairs that are here. There's another chair right out there. So we can either do this folding chair if we have more people, or just put this. This guy had a high chair.
But we don't sit there anymore.
He's not interested in that anymore. So he's got this little spot.
The last thing about the table is that it has another wing to do the same thing, so it can be twice as long for our very rare dinner parties with 6 people.
Like 6 or 7, I think.
Is that heating?
Yes, this is a fireplace that is really an electric space heater. And with our solar panels, we really want to use as much electric base infrastructure as we can, because that's what we're paying into.
And there's enough sun in the winter to get some solar?
Yeah, I think overall we equal out. We just don't have this battery storage, but because we're on the grid and we're paying a loan for the solar panels, so we pay that instead of electricity. And over the coming decades, it will save us a lot of money. Out here actually used to be a porch. This was a deck, but we had to deconstruct this. He deconstructed this over the course of 2 days. This first summer that we were here, because we needed this new door. Our carpenter said that the sliding door that he took out was
the saddest sliding door he has seen in decades of work.
yes.
And with winter fast approaching, we had to.
So hence, there went the deck, and now we have what we affectionately term the pit, which is another future project. Things like, you know, even our bathroom, getting a fan in here, a ventilation fan, because eventually our goals for this space are to rent it out.
Yes. Yeah, so like Taylor said, I think that we're outgrowing the space with this 2-year-old. It already feels like we're bursting at the seams, and as he grows or our family grows, we're gonna have to live on this land, but in another house, hopefully. And what to do with a 1-bedroom, 670 square foot cottage. And we don't feel quite so motivated to turn it into an Airbnb, spend your ski money and then leave. That I think Vermont has too much of that already. So Rafael, these are some friends, and we're gonna show them the beach. So if this can be a house that allows folks to live in dignity like we have for these past few years, then we would love to do that.
And then what would you do? Build another thing on the property?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were able to get permitting to build another home here?
Yes.
Yes, that was one of the qualifications of why we went forward and wanted this place, because we knew that if we had a family growing up, that we would outgrow it.
Yeah, because we can't afford a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house at the get-go, but we can afford a cottage.
And then work up
and
to
work,
what,
and work
yeah.
up.
Welcome to Full Joy Farm.
It's big.
Yeah, it's 2.65 acres, and coming from living in apartments, this is huge.
You did do it.
Gotta do it?
Okay.
Okay.
This is huge for us, and we have everything that we could want here.
Is this what you imagined when you were in Brooklyn, thinking about living in the countryside? I mean, is this what you pictured?
This is better.
This is much better than I could have imagined. Like, we have a lot of space to expand here in ways that we never really did. This is a garden. Right now we have some lettuces, mustard greens in this row, and some very, very young corn and beans on this end. Usually by early July they should be like to your knee. So we're getting there.
So do you get much of your greens from here in the summer?
Yes. I would say by midsummer we'll be getting kale and collards, chard, and spinach pretty regularly. This is our 4th year gardening and growing like vegetables. I'm very experimental about the way that we garden. We use cardboard in the garden, so if we have like extra boxes, we just toss them down here. This area used to be all covered with weeds, and just recently we tilled it, and now it'll be ready to plant later in the season if we need more planting space. This was just recently tilled. We just put in the tomatoes, peppers, we have some cucumbers and eggplants. It's very simplistic as far as like using cardboard and other recycled materials and using grass clippings as compost cover. We have a couple onions and rhubarb that have come up. This area is still a little bit wild, but when we do plant here, I've got a little bit of recycled glass bottles that are kind of providing a little bit more of like a raised bed function. This is all scrap wood, and it's no build. We just place things as we need, where we need them.
So it was no till and no build.
Yeah, no till, no build. So this is our compost area. It's kind of like a nest sort of method. You can see it's like pretty dark, but this is one that's active. I just composted earlier today. This is an older pile that we'll probably be using next year. Looks like it's about 70. That's not very active. But
Which is probably normal because it's an older one.
yeah, it's older and it's sitting, it's kind of like curing right now. This is the one that's currently active. It's going up to like 80. At the hottest of the summer, like we want it to be like maybe over 100. We use our compost, I give it extra time because of the humanure process, and I just want to make sure that everything is decomposed. Every year we'll have another bin ready to go for the planting season. So right now, we're not producing any food to sell. It's all like veggies for our family over the summer. We do like some preserving of like pickles or onions. We have goals of becoming more self-sufficient. We don't have the space to can and preserve and all of the things that ideally would help with that.
So how are you able to work out here because it's quite remote?
Yeah, I am gainfully employed in both the towns of Hartford and Woodstock, and they are 15 minutes in either direction.
Let's kick.
Nice kick, Mama.
Thank you.
What kind of work do you do?
I am primarily a youth worker.
And you don't have to make a lot of money because you're not spending a lot on a mortgage or, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We pay $800 a month in mortgage
It's half of what our rent in Brooklyn was.
for a lot less.
Yeah, and you're paying off a house and property and a lot of land,
Bigger girl.
Are you guys gonna go for a ride?
Go on a track.
Go on a tractor.
Hey Rafa, this is gonna be a place for Mama to dance. I am an artist and I thought that leaving Brooklyn, I would be giving up pretty much most artistic opportunities. I've actually found that quite the opposite is true. I'm actively involved in like the improv dance community. I found that living in a smaller area, I have been able to plug into the local networks with much more ease and access than I could in a big city. So this is the pathway into what we call Rafael's Point. It's a beach named for our son. Every time I walked here when he was a newborn, he was like sleeping like in a baby wrap, and now he finally he'll throw rocks and play here. Here we are. It's Rafa's Point.
Surprise!
Yay!
That was so good. That was such a good surprise.
That was
Nice.
good.
Welcome.
So welcome to Rafa's Point.
That's pretty amazing to have your own river almost, spring, creek. I mean, it's creek, I guess, but there's a lot of water.
It's called Mill Brook, and it runs like through our neighborhood and all the way 5 minutes from here down to the White River.
So you have like your own kind of pool.
This is our beach.
This should be your own beach, right?
And we dunk here. We love to just cool off in the brook after like going for a run or working out or when it's super hot. Aww.
Really transparent.
Yeah, it's really clear.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And you'll see in a moment our campsite is a stone's throw away from here. So, and we've camped around the brook as well, just to have the lullaby of the water rolling past you.
It's funny because I think about these areas up here where there was a lot of people going back to the land and they chose Vermont back in the 60s, and now you've found this maybe because it was one of the most affordable places, but like do you find any inspiration from what people were doing back in the 60s?
Certainly we're inspired by what people have done in the past. What I think is different is that our goal is really taking what is already here and fixing it up for the hereafter. So I think that our goal of like taking this dejected cottage and making something out of it is what kind of differentiates us from the prior movements.
Using what's there, using what we have, using maybe what other people would throw away and not find value in, and making it something in a creative way. So this is the campsite.
We mowed a little fraction of the meadow. We dug a hole and lined it with river rocks and called it a fire pit.
So people will come and they'll set up their tent. It's like a micro business for our family, and with hopes to expand with different arts workshops. We do humanure and compost all of the toilet material. That is a bucket and toilet lid that is ready to go, and a cover material bucket for the next campers that are here.
Okay. You didn't even bother to build a whole outhouse or something.
We really
I don't know how to do that.
We don't know how to do that. Like we are beginners and learning, and
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't know anything. I've made so many mistakes, but I know how to do this. I can dig a hole and line it with rocks. And it's pretty nice as it turns out.
What we really do realize is that there's so much joy to be found, hence, again, Full Joy Farm. Like, there's so much joy in materially few or simple things. I've got to be careful because of the flowers. I don't want to hit the new lights. Solar powered lights that I installed. We're going to head towards the Vermont space.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
back home.
Okay. We feel like we have a lot because we've accumulated a lot since we've come here. You can see all the little solar lights along the path. But our approach is what is going to get the job done and allow us to have the freedom or the joy that we're looking for without spending a lot, without time or money, without doing something that's more than we can handle.
Is that why you picked the name?
Yeah, we took a formative trip to Jamaica in 2016, and that's a Jamaican aphorism because with enjoy, the joy ends. But for full joy, you're full of joy forever.
A good bus.
Look, it's Mama.
I'm just gonna bring these things. Okay. Hey, love you. Thanks. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And with the house, instead of tearing it down or trying to focus on like aesthetics primarily, like we're focusing on functionality, on efficiency, and on meeting our needs and creatively growing on that. Salad.
Oh, so gorgeous. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Rafael. I stepped on your finger.
All right. I think so. Since this is already washed, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the onion, hun. Is that okay?
Yeah, Rafa wants to dig up. So
Okay, I got this. Yep.
And I think that, you know, there are different ways that people choose to, like, be a part of the revolution, man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Are you gonna have a pretzel?
You're sharing.
That's so nice.
A lot of folks are looking to make a whole new space. Some folks are working within the system. I feel like we're finding the cracks and trying to grow in that, where, you know, the plants are growing in unruly ways and things are forgotten and cast aside. Like that's where we find home.
Sorry, I'm crying. Onions. This is, I'm not used to this. Yeah. I don't do this. And we do an annual road trip. We are gonna go and see grandparents.